Staying with us here on Breakfast Central. Now, Lagos, a mega city bursting with energy, opportunity and diversity. But beneath the glimmering skyline lies a grim reality. Skyrocketing housing costs, and the question on everyone's mind, including me, myself and my colleagues this morning, is who can actually afford to live in Lagos?
That's a very big question you've asked there, Joe, because indeed Lagos has become a city where many residents will complain about feeling trapped between crushing rent prices and the dream of owning a home slipping further and further out of their reach. But what's fueling this housing crisis? This morning, we go beyond the headlines to uncover the hard truth and the uncomfortable conversations. Joining us this morning for this discussion is Scott Iguma, a price control advocate. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I think a great way to start the show would be for you to set a background for why you decided to become a price control advocate. Was it from your personal experience or from the experiences of people around you? Walk us through your journey.
All right, thank you, Ms. Central. Good morning, and thank you for having me. So what started the journey was, I'm into buildings. I love real estate, I love buildings, I love structure. So at times I used to watch YouTube videos, I watch YouTube content, I see houses in various countries, and then I see houses, and I've traveled as well. So I see houses in Nigeria, and I get to see the price doesn't match, doesn't tally. And also in my area, I get to see lots of homeless people. Lots of homeless people roaming around the streets, no place to stay. They live under the bridge, they live by the roadside, they don't have a house to stay. And getting to look at it, I got to see, oh, the reason why we have so much homeless people, there's so much overpricing going on in the real estate sector. They're building these houses, and all of the houses are overpriced, so people can afford rent. And that was the reason why I started fighting, and why I started advocating for the overpricing that is going on in the real estate sector.
Very much for setting that background as to why you decided to pursue this course. And there have been a number of comparisons you've made so far in terms of what a property would look like in Nigeria, as well as what it would look, or what a property would cost and look like in Nigeria, as well as what a property will cost and look like in other parts of the country. What would you say has been the most shocking one for you, and what would you say are some of the causes of this great disparity?
The most shocking one for me was one I compared. I was going for $5 million in a coin. Like that was like it was something else. And again, you have to take note that it's not just the price; it's as well they are building houses that are not of standard and slamming huge prices on it. So the most shocking one for me was the one I saw in a coin that was going for $5 million. I can tell you for free that property was totally rubbish. Honestly, totally rubbish. And the reason they are acquiring and using dollars to hide the price. What they were actually doing was, for example, that property, if they were to put it in Naira, $5 million, let's say that property was about 7 billion Naira, for example. An average Nigerian, even if that person is not well educated, will know that, oh, this property should be valued at 7 billion Naira, because Naira is their currency. So they build rubbish and then they hide the value, they hide the price in Naira, in dollars. So people don't know the greed and the overpricing that they are practicing. So that was what they were doing. So the most shocking one for me was the property I saw in Poli. Exactly, that is it. That was, slammed with $5 million. That was rubbish. That property is totally rubbish. And for me, that property should be demolished and the land reclaimed. If you were to ask me my own opinion, that property is absolutely rubbish.
We've looked at the cost of living and so on. Let's bring it back home now. We've talked about Lagos. There are growing concerns from Lagosians, especially now that the landlords are, increasing the rent. You are indeed a price advocate. You're looking at why the prices are going up. You've mentioned in your videos that these houses don't worth, in quotes, the price that are being demanded, especially asked by the either landlord or the agent. Who do you think is really causing this increase in rent prices? Is it the agents? Is it the landlords? Or do they have an association? When you carry out your research, who do you really think needs to be cautioned?
They are the agents. The agents and the rectors are the ones that are skyrocketing the price of rent. As a matter of fact, the agent and rectors sometimes call the landlords, because you have to understand that Majority of the people who own houses in Lagos are not living in Lagos. They are Nigerians in the diaspora. They buy these houses and put them out for investment purpose for rent. So the agent got to call them that most of them don't even know the rents that are charged in some particular areas. They just buy the house, the realtors and the agents who sold those houses for them, we also tell them, we'll put a rent for you. We'll put 5 million naira rent for you. So it is the realtors, the agents who are increasing the price of rent. As a matter of fact, they use maps. Like I keep saying in all of my videos, they are using maps to appreciate the property. In the next 2 years, the property will times 2. In the next 1 year, the property will times 2. Why should it times 2? But they use these words to guilt trip and to break in those Nigerians from the diaspora to invest in Nigeria. So they tell them, don't worry, we'll help you rent it out. Or this is straight up so you can make your money back. That is why we are having the overpricing. So the agents are the reasons why we are having this hike in rent, and it has to be stopped. And we have to look into it and crack it down. Otherwise, this Lagos city is going to sink in hyperinflation and in homelessness.
In the course of your advocacy, you've had quite a number of pushback. There are people that have threatened you with lawsuits. They've said you're taking business away from them. They said, what's your business? And you've gone through quite a lot. Now, could you share some of those experiences with us, and also what motivates you to keep on championing the cause for price control and also the bastardization of the word luxury?
Okay, what motivates me is my high level of positive energy. Because at the moment, we have lots of negative energy going on in our country and in our society in Nigeria. We have a lot of negative energy, mental energy, because we are all growing individually and not growing collectively. So I've gotten some threats, some pushback, but I've made them to understand that I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. There is no fear in me. I'm not scared of anybody. As a matter of fact, I keep saying it's not a trend, it's a movement, and I'm ready to go head on. I don't care who you are. I usually tell them in the video, I know they fear anybody, Papa. I don't believe in, don't mention names. If your name is involved in anything that you are doing that is wrong and that is affecting the general public, I will mention your name and I will call you out. And yes, some of them they try to attack me, they try to fight back at me, but I'm way smarter. And before I get involved in anything, I ensure I'm 100% aware. So if you want to fight me, you have to ensure that you catch up with my level, because I will outspeed you and take you down. So that's it for me. No fears. If you're found wanting, I will call you out definitely. Because if we don't do the right thing, evil will prevail.
Indeed, if we don't keep fighting and speaking up, evil will continue to prevail. But let's talk about the wins. Do you think that since you've started this advocacy, there have been any wins? You constantly call out fraudulent pricing. You've called out, bad behavior in the rent sector and the real estate space. But are we making progress? Are there any wins? Or please go ahead.
Of course, we are making progress. As a matter of fact, I even find it's challenging now for me to see some overpriced houses. Because right now, one of the major ones that has stopped is the listing in dollars. The listing in dollars has, drastically reduced to the criminal minimum. So I barely see houses again that are listed in dollars, because I ensure I call out the EFCC in the matter, and I believe they took actions. So we're not seeing houses listed in dollars again. I'm even finding houses that are listed for 6 billion, 5 billion, 4 billion. The ones I'm seeing now are already like 800 million down. So they are pushing back to affordable housing, which we need, because most of the times, all of them wanted to start building luxurious property. They want to start building, and what they call luxury is not luxury, it's absolutely rubbish. In my honest opinion, in everyone's honest opinion, what they are doing was absolutely rubbish. So now we've been progress, and as well, when it comes to the renting, someone has come up with the Dome app, they use Dome app, they came up with a strategy of where you can give reviews of the property you've rented. If they are good, you drop your reviews. If they are bad, you drop your reviews. So that also has helped bring down some of these challenges. And yeah, we are seeing some really, really, really good results. I believe you saw results. That's why you reached out to me.
Interesting. Well, where do you see this leading to? What do you think the government can do at the moment to ensure that the rent would go back? There's an article that has been shared and it's circulating online. I don't know if you have been able to stumble on it or seen it. It says tenants to pay monthly, quarterly, yearly as Lagos reinforces rent. Do you think that your advocacy, I mean, we know it's contributed to this, and being a voice, lending your voice to ensure that the government does what is right, do you think that there will be a time where Lagosians will be able to pay their rents monthly and yearly? Do you think it would ever happen?
Firstly, nothing is impossible. That's to put that in statement. Now, but I would not advise the monthly rents because most people are not earning much. The economy is not sustaining for most of the workers in Lagos. As a matter of fact, people who are even able to rent these are traded properties are people who are not working in Nigeria per se. They are working online, they are working globally. So where are the doctors going to stay? Most of the doctors can afford monthly rents. Most of the teachers can afford monthly rents. We need the state government and the federal government to go back to providing affordable estates. They have to start building affordable estates. Because right now we are having shortage in home supply. So the government has to start building government and state, federal housing estates that will be affordable, that will take care for the teachers, that will take care, because right now, most of the stable workers in Nigeria, the stable talent persons, they cannot afford rent. And if it's not cheaper than urgent, it's going to be crazy because we already have doctors traveling outside. Very soon the teachers will join. And again, we have to go into vocational studies as well because we have to start teaching people how to build proper structures. Because aside from the overpricing, aside from the rubbish and the dilapidating structures we are building, we don't have quality vocationals to do good structures. So the state government has to do that, and we also have to go into providing affordable houses for Lagosians and for Nigerians. So paying rent monthly, I don't advise that in our opinion because most Nigerians can't do that. We can't afford that. We are used to the 1 year system because we have a long time to raise that money. If you start asking them to pay monthly, then there's going to be another crisis this year. So if they want people to pay monthly, then they have to work on the economy to ensure that the economy is self-sustaining for people to have good jobs so they can pay their rent monthly.
I'm glad that you highlighted a number of these areas that we need to pay particular attention to, quality of structures and the likes. But in your final words, who are the necessary stakeholders and what responsibilities do they all have? So I'm also going to ask this in terms of us as individuals, as citizens, do we also have a responsibility to ensure that we do not further exacerbate the current crisis, housing crisis in the country?
Okay, of course, I normally say we don't have a government problem, we don't have statistics problem, we have a human problem. That's our major problem. So it is 100% on the individuals. So we like to blame the government for everything, but that's weird. That's not true. It's just an excuse to shift us from the blame. That's what we keep doing. We blame the government for everything. Even the part that we are faulty, even the part that we are responsible for the damages, we want to blame them. We want to blame it on the government. And we have to stop that rubbish and start holding ourselves accountable. So the government has their own part to play. But the developers have their own part to play too. The realtors have their part to play too. The landlords have their part to play too. The tenants have their part to play too. So it's not just a governmental problem, it's a human problem. So that's what it is for me. That's what I think. And I think that's the honest truth. So we have to work on ourselves. The developers are building strictly for greed, strictly for their benefits and for their profits. They are not building to solve any challenge. That's why you see they build these houses as though they are going to put animals in those houses. They are not building those houses as though they are going to live in it. How can you build a house? No greeneries, no nothing. The ventilation is poor. Because they build these houses strictly for Nigerians in the diaspora. Most of these people, they don't see the houses. They just pay and list it on rent. They are not going to live in it. So the developers are a major problem, and the developers have to look into their self and stop this greed and overpricing and dilapidated structures.
Even just the access to potable water in some of these houses where you're paying exorbitant fees is asking for too much. Quality of when it's rainy season, the drainage system in these luxury apartments, your walls are leaking. It's terrible. But we'll not stop talking about it and holding the stakeholders to account. Thank you, Scott Iguma, for not just for joining us, but also being a voice that calls out the irregularities in the real estate sector. Thank you for your time with us.